Hello teacher and everybody. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kamlan Kumar. Today I am going to present thesis proposal in the topic as English learning motivation and strategy of the first year student, Faculty of Linguistics and Humanities, Savanakhet University in academic year 2020 to 2021. Okay, before go to present today, I have three main points to present. Okay, the first point is the introduction. Second is a theoretical review and conceptual framework, and the last is a research method. So let's move to the background. English is considered the most important as a global language. It is the most required and international language of communication. It helps people in several parts of the world to communicate and understand. According to Christor 2013, point that English is a universal language. It was used every of business, education, communication, and entertainment. In law, English is word taught and conducted as a foreign language in public and private school, college, and university. It starts at the first grade of secondary school to the seventh grade of higher secondary school. In light of learning English in university, English is the first choice of law students that they want to study in field of foreign language. Savanakhet University is the first public university of law that has administered by Ministry of Education and Sport. It has the location in Savanakhet, province, middle part of Laos. For the Savanakhet University have many of field of study, and English is one of field that get popular from Lao students. Okay. In terms of learning English of Lao students, there are facts with many problems that concern with any factor that cause Lao students have poor performance of their learning English. So the problem such as the weak of curriculum design, lack of English teacher, and lack of student learning motivation. According to John 2011 stated that the problem of learning language is come from several factors in different environments such as school resource, class size, quality of teacher, and the school attendance of the learner. Students will try to be success in their learning of English in classroom. The psychological factor, which is the impression that generates of action to play significant role to achieve in learning, is called motivation. According to IELTS, motivation can make students interest and desire to success or achieve about their goals in learning process. Moreover, motivation is one of general factors that individual learner that differ the way learner learn something and the way they use to the knowledge of it. And motivation is seen as a goal of every learning, while learning strategy of learner is the transportation for students to reach their goals. Moreover, language learning strategy is also offer student English score at the state by Suwarana 2012. Applied language learning strategy is related with two achievement in language classroom. Okay, According to Ford 1990, one the elements of affect to success of learning is a learning strategy. For the learning strategy is a step that taken by students to enhance their own learning. Learning strategy are among of main factors to help to determine how and how well of student. Based on the discussion, it concludes that motivation is a main factor of learner in learning English, while learning strategy is a way of learner for learning foreign language. So, in here, the researchers are interested to study in about the topic that the learning, motivation, and strategy of the first year student. Faculty of Linguistics and Humanities, Savanakhet University, in academic 2020-2021. Okay, for the limited of study. For the limited study, the researcher provide and conduct the student second semester of the first year English student. And okay, the problem statement. In here, the problem statement is concerned of the title like motivation and learning strategy. So the problem statement, there are four. The first is how is learning motivation of the first year by male. Second is how is the learning motivation of the first year by female. Third is what is the English learning strategy by the first year male, and the last, what is the English learning strategy using by the first year female student. Faculty of Linguistics and Humanities, Savanakhet University. Okay, let's move to the objective. For the objective is concerned for the problem statement, like there are four. The first one is to find out the English learning motivation of the first year by male, and second is to find out English learning motivation of the first year female. Third is to find out learning strategy using by male, and the last is find out English learning strategy used by the first year female student. Faculty of Linguistics and Humanities, Savanakhet University, in academic year 2020-2021. Okay, the benefits. For the benefits, after this research finished, the researcher expect the benefits will go to two parts. The first one is a theoretical benefits, and second is to the practical benefits. And then for the theoretical period and conceptual framework, for the period study, to strengthen and reliable of this study, the researcher applied 10 period study, and 10 period study is related with the topic like motivation and learning strategy, and all of 10 period study are different, such as the objective, type of research, and the methods. Okay, let's move to underlying theory. For the underlying theory is the first notion student learning motivation. In area of education, motivation is an important factor that stimulates the learner doing activity in learning process. The motivation of students will be give them an idea for doing and create the activity to get achieve goals. According to Nisha 2004, motivation to learn is a force driving students in their learning activity or a desire for achieve or the best possible learning income from their study offer. According to Garner in 1985, They has defined category level of motivation for study language into two. Like the first one is integrative, and second one is instrument oriented. And according to or 1996 has divided motivation into two types. The first type is intrinsic and the second is extrinsic. For the intrinsic has divided into three. The first one is interest, second is needs, and the last is a goal. For the extrinsic, there are three types. Like the first one is a teacher, second is a parent, and the last is a environment or social. Okay, for the social. Okay, let's me move to the notion of learning strategy. For the learning strategy is defined as a specific action, behavior, step, and technique by the learner to enhance their own learning. Is aimed to attract learner to help them to remember about the objective, about the rations is better, or do the test more efficiently. According to Nisbet and Chad Smith, 1986, define learning strategy as a process that underlies the performance of thinking tasks. Learning strategy is also called as a rule, principle, as a procedure used by facilitators learning that application to variety of specified learning tasks. According to Morley and Chalmers, 1919 state that learning strategies are special thoughts or behavior that individual use to help them comprehend, learn, and retain new information. According to Oxford, 1990, also point out the learning strategy are specific actions that taken by the learner to help them their own learning to make the learning easier, faster, more enjoy, and more self-direct, and the last more effective and more transferable. For the language learning strategy is applied by learner to assess and facilitate their learning in different language skills such as speaking, writing, listening, and reading. They are divided into two, like a direct and indirect strategy. Okay, for the direct strategy, there are three trials. Like the first one is a memory strategy. Second is a cognitive strategy, and the last is composition strategy. For the indirect strategy is a metacognitive strategy, effective strategy, and the last social strategy. Okay, let's move to conceptual. For the conceptual of learning motivation framework, like according to Maslow in Suwarno 2009, explained that motivation has influence to women that determine behavior, demonstrate to they are doing work or study. Why you may 2009 motivation is one of several important factors to lead students English to achieve to their learning. Besides that, the inspiration of friends, teachers, parents involved the society will be one motivation factor to impetus learner to get success in learning too. According to Neshat 2004, learning motivation could be for students in driving their learning activity involve research and the best possible learning income. will be least their way to the achievement. In addition, according to Bao 2000, address motivation can be stimulate the student in learning new language even thought they have low competence. Moreover, it fulfills student to grasp of low proficiency. For the learner who have high motivation is become a person who nearly the success. And last, according to R, for the R has divided motivation into two types. Like the first type is the internal and the last is the external. Okay, for the internal there are three. Like internal, like there are three. Like the first is a interest, second is a need, and the last is a goal. For the interest is someone that who student learn English. For the need is for the need two. For the need is something that student want to learn, and the goal is something like student want to do in the future by learning English. And the last internal and the last external. For the external there are three. Like the first is a teacher. Teacher may be one factor that give influence for student motivation, and the second is parents. Parent is main important motivation for student, and the last is the social. For the social is one kind that's important for the student that they got influence from anyways. Okay, and for the conceptual learning strategy, according to Nisbet and Charles Smith, different learning strategy is a process of underlying performance on thinking test system. It also called the rule, principle, and procedure to facilitate in learning. According to Fau CAT 2013 stated that learning is individual step that implement to complete their learning. Students have their own style in order to achieve, depend on their condition. While of course O'Malley and Jasmine 1990 different learning strategy is a special behavior thinking system to students acquire the goal. Special behavior to thoughts used to help students comprehend learning retain a new acquired goals. And according to decision 1987 state that learning strategy is concerned with the actual activity and technique which lead to learn. Oxford 1989 emphasize them as a behavior or action which learn used to make language learning more successful, self-direct, and enjoyable. Okay, let's move to the research methods. For the research method, there are several parts. The first part is a type of research. For study this time, the researcher used a qualitative research. According to R. Jago, state that qualitative research is concerned on understand social events from perspective, behavior, motivation of human participant. Okay, for the research object. For the research object is the researcher focus on the learning motivation and strategy of the first year English student. Faculty of Linguistics and Humanities, Savanakhet University in academic 2020-2021. For the research subject, this study is determine how and what of English learning motivation and strategy. The researcher is using among of 37 participants of the simple group is first year English language faculty of Linguistics and Humanities, Savanakhet University. For the data and data source, okay, as first the data of this research is attributed by provide questionnaire to student. This method is the gather the information about motivation and learning strategy information, and then another technique is using by correct data directly by using observation. The researcher will conduct observation twice for each class and is applied by observation the student motivation and learning strategy in learning English during teaching and learning process, and the technique analyze data. The researcher analyze data that's already gathered from observation, such analyze the phenomenon and the reacts that happen in classroom by students during their learning English concerned with available. And after that, the researcher will compare the data with the theory of learning, motivation and strategy, and then summarize in describe finding and conclusion. Okay, for the analyze questionnaire is concerned with the available or of data, analyze about the percentage average data that demonstrate the reliable. For the advantage adjustment of the level of motivation using main interpretations by the best, okay, of following. And in here there are 6 level, like the first level is strongly disagree, second disagree, slightly disagree, slightly agree, agree and strongly agree. Okay, the first average is a 0.02099 is a strongly disagree until 4.51 to 5 point is a strongly agree. Okay, for the questionnaire there are six level, like agree, not agree, not agree, the same. Okay, that's all for my presentation about the thesis proposal. Thank you, Mom Molly. Thank you very much.